And let's bring in senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez for more on this. Louis, what was the Pentagon's initial response when this strike happened, and how has that changed over the last few hours?
Diane, I can tell you that yesterday afternoon when this story broke, this building was busy. Officials trying to figure out exactly what was going on. We had a regularly scheduled Pentagon press briefing with Brigadier General Patrick Ryder. He began that briefing by starting off saying, we know that something has happened. We are aware of these press reports of a missile strike inside of Poland, and we're trying to figure out what it was. For the next half hour, that General Ryder took tons of questions from reporters, but he would not budge from that information. What we're aware now is that later on, they were looking at all possibilities, whether this was a missile fired by Russia, whether this was possibly an air defense missile fired by the Ukrainians, which has now turned out to be the case. But they needed to get that information. And the way they got that information, more than likely, was by the eventual arrival of Polish military personnel, as you saw in Tom Sufi-Burridge's report. They were the ones who are essentially leading the investigation into exactly where this missile may have come from precisely. But the real indication, as you saw in Tom's report, was from President Biden, who in Bali said that it was unlikely that the trajectory of that missile indicated that it had been fired from inside Russia. I think once that information was put out there by President Biden, then you could see the tamping down of the concerns that this may lead to a broader crisis, as have been concerns about the invoking of Article 5 with NATO. But today, Pentagon officials now saying that they are also in agreement with what we're hearing from Poland and from NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg, that this was more than likely a Ukrainian air defense missile.
Now, Louis, according to a U.S. official, CIA Director Bill Burns traveled to Kiev to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky today after meeting with his Russian counterpart in Turkey. So what more do we know about that meeting?
Sure. So the meeting actually took place. He was in town yesterday in Kiev because he had just met on Monday in Turkey with his Russian counterpart, the head of Russian intelligence. And the message that Burns projected on Monday was essentially, do not use nuclear weapons inside of Ukraine. And that is by itself a very strong comment and very extraordinary in itself. So after that meeting on Monday, Burns went to Kiev on Tuesday to meet personally with Ukrainian officials to brief them on his meeting and to stress essentially that, yes, I had communicated that message to my counterpart. Now, the interesting thing was that he was in Kiev as those barrages of missiles were coming inbound into the city itself, and so he had to take cover inside the U.S. Embassy, but he was okay. But the meeting there was more to just to consult with Ukrainian counterparts.
Now, Louis, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin delivered remarks at the Pentagon today and said, quote, we will continue to work closely with our ally Poland and others to gather more information, and we'll continue to consult closely with our NATO allies and our valued partners. So what are you watching for as this investigation plays out?
Well, I think what they want to try to ascertain is they have actually concrete evidence that this was a Ukrainian air defense missile. Right now, they're using the term more than likely, correct? So what they're trying to do is advance that to full certainty. You can expect that the Poles will try to figure out the serial numbers of that was aboard that missile and try to figure out if, in fact, it came from the Ukrainian inventory.
All right, Louis Martinez, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.